Ever seen a cool printed shirt for sale and thought to yourself, I could easily make money doing this? Well, it's time to put your money where your mouth is. Welcome to your crash course in launching a printing business that can make you thousands of dollars a month in income. From custom designed tees to snarky mugs and blankets, I'm going to cover it all today. I'll dive into the different printing options like print on demand, DTF transfers, white toner printing, and Dtf printing, giving you the tools to choose the best method for your business. And by the end of this video, you'll know how to start your own printing business with a small investment that has the potential to earn you life-changing income. But first off, let's start with some assumptions. Everything that I'm going to teach you today follows a logical progression, assuming that you have no money at all to start. And when you have no money, it makes sense to start with print on demand. Print on demand is a business model where you create and sell custom designed products like t-shirts, mugs, and phone cases without needing to keep any inventory. When someone buys a product from your online store, a print on demand company prints and ships the order to the end customer, and you pay the print on demand company with the money you've collected from your customer. This means that you don't have to spend any money upfront on stock or worry about storing unsold items. Instead, you can focus on creating cool designs and promoting your store while a printing company handles the production and shipping. It's a great way to start a business with low risk and costs, and you can literally start a print-on-demand business for no money at all. In fact, my kids started a print-on-demand store when they were only 9 and 11 years old over at kidincharge.com. My kids came up with their own designs and ended up making over $1,000 in revenue in their first month. Now, $1,000 a month sounds great. But what you probably didn't know is that they actually only made about $175 in profit on that $1,000. Now don't get me wrong, this is an amazing amount of money for 2 elementary school kids. But the big downside about print on demand that almost no one tells you about is that the margins suck. I've been running a custom printing and embroidery business for 17 years now over at bumblebeelinens.com, and had my kids printed and fulfilled these shirts themselves, they could have easily pocketed $750 or more in profit out of that $1,000. So overall, print on demand is a great way to get started and find out which of your designs sell the best. But in order to make a lot more profit per sale, you have to print your merchandise yourself. So the next step in the evolution of a printing business is to purchase DTF transfers with your designs on them. Basically, the way it works is you upload your design to a DTF transfer printing house who then prints your design onto a film that can easily be pressed onto any shirt. So for about $7, you can order a piece of a single-use film that contains a design of up to 8 by 8 inches inside. So let's just do some math real quick. My kids were charging about $25 a shirt to make a profit of about $5 because the print-on-demand company charged roughly $20 per shirt, including shipping. Now, if you get your own stickers made for $7, assuming a blank t-shirt costs about $3 from Michaels plus $5 in shipping, that is a profit of $10 per shirt, which isn't bad. So having DTF stickers printed is a great way to double your profit over print on demand. By the way, if you're enjoying this video so far, make sure you sign up for my free 6-day e-commerce mini course where you'll learn how to start your own profitable online store. Now, the problem with getting DTF stickers made is that it doesn't allow you to do personalization for your customers, which is where the real money is. And to do that, you need to own your own printer. For example, when I print a design onto one of our products, our margins are about 90% plus. And customers are willing to pay us a huge premium because we can print whatever they want and include their names, sayings, graphics, basically anything. Now, there are 2 main printer technologies that I'm going to teach you about today, and I'll do a thorough breakdown for you in terms of quality, cost, maintenance, everything. Now, the 2 technologies that I use for my printing business over at bumblebeelinens.com are white toner printing and DTF printing, and both have their pros and cons. Now, a good printer in either category will run you about $3,500, which sounds like a lot of money. But if you already have a volume of print-on-demand orders rolling in, you can easily 4 to 5x your profit per sale and turn something that you do just as a hobby into something that will make you life-changing money. Now, the first technology that I'm going to teach you about is white toner printing. White toner printing is essentially a fancy name for a laser printer that allows you to print on fabric, wood, mugs, basically everything. And here's how the technology works. First, the design is printed onto a special piece of transfer paper using white toner. Now, this white toner acts as a base layer, so when you print on dark materials, the colors on top look bright and bold. After printing on the film, you then marry the print onto a special adhesive sheet. The adhesive on this paper is what will eventually stick the design to your fabric or shirt. To perform the marrying step, you sandwich the film with the printed design and the adhesive paper together and then press them with a heat press. The heat and pressure cause the adhesive to bond only to the printed areas on the film. And after pressing, you carefully peel the adhesive paper away from the film, the adhesive sticks to the toner on the film, and now your design on the film is ready to be transferred. To print your design, you place the transfer film onto the fabric and use a heat press to meld the design from the film onto the material. So basically, the heat and pressure from the press cause the design to stick to the surface. And then finally, you peel off the transfer paper and the design stays on the material, looking just like it was printed directly on it. Now, the white toner printer that I use and recommend for this process is the Uninet iColor 560, which costs around $3,700. Now, the next printer technology that competes head-to-head with white toner printing is called Dtf Printing. Dtf, which stands for direct to film, is essentially a fancy name for an inkjet printer that allows you to print on fabric. And similar to white toner printing, a Dtf printer also prints directly onto a special film, which is then transferred to your favorite garment with a heat press. But the process is slightly different. So first off, a special printer, which is usually an inkjet printer that's been adapted for Dtf, prints your design onto a transparent film. The printer lays down the colors of the design and then it prints a special layer of white ink on top of the colors. This white layer is super important because it makes the colors pop when you transfer the design onto dark fabrics. After the design is printed on the film, you sprinkle a special adhesive powder onto the wet ink. And this powder sticks to the ink and eventually helps the design bond to the fabric. The film is gently heated to melt the powder so it forms a solid layer on the back of the design. And once the powder has melted and cooled, the film is ready to use. You place the film with the design facing down onto your t-shirt or other fabric, and then a heat press is used to apply heat and pressure which transfer the design from the film to the fabric. And after pressing, you let the film cool down a bit, and then you peel it off, leaving the design perfectly transferred onto the fabric. And the result is a vibrant, durable print that feels soft and smooth on the fabric. Now, the Dtf printer that I own is a Sublistar Star 4 A3 printer, which costs about $5,000. Now, you can find Dtf printers for way cheaper than this, but it's in your best interest to get a better one for reasons that I'll describe later in this video. Now, on the surface, both printing technologies do exactly the same thing, but there are many details that you need to be aware of. So first off, in terms of quality, Dtf printing generally produces higher quality print designs with more vibrant colors. And this is because laser printer toner particles are generally less color saturated compared to liquid-based inks. But in my experience, the prints from my Uninet iColor white toner printer are pretty darn close to my Sublistar Dtf printer. Maybe I just don't have a good trained eye for these things, but if you were to put a Dtf print side by side with a white toner print on a shirt, I strongly doubt that you'd be able to tell the difference unless you pressed your face right up against it. For the most part, the quality of Dtf is going to be better, but it's not going to be substantially better than white toner. However, I will say this. White toner prints can sometimes feel a little bit thicker and more rigid on the fabric, especially if a large area is covered by the design. And this is due to the toner sitting on top of the fabric rather than being completely absorbed. This crispier feel can be noticeable, particularly on lighter fabrics, though it hasn't been a huge problem for me just yet. Just be aware that you can almost always achieve a similar feel of print from your white toner printer by just making some minor adjustments to your image. And what about durability? Once again, Dtf prints are probably going to last longer without cracking or fading compared to white toner printing. And again, this has to do with the fact that Dtf inks tend to absorb into the fabric better than white toner. Now, I personally have not washed my garments enough times yet to do an apples to apples comparison, but Dtf is generally regarded as more durable, flexible, and less likely to crack. So overall, Dtf offers better quality and durability compared to white toner, though you'll probably not notice much difference, especially if you pre-process your image. Let's talk about printer maintenance next. Which printer is easier to maintain for a small business owner? And in this category, white toner beats Dtf printing hands down. Over the course of the past year, my Dtf printer has broken down 3 times, and most of my problems have been caused by either user error or the lack of maintenance. The problem with a Dtf printer is that you have to literally print all the time, or else the ink dries up and clogs the heads. So if you're not getting a regular stream of print orders, then chances are your printer will break very quickly. For our business, we use our printer pretty much every single day. But recently, my wife and I just went on a 2-week vacation to Paris and Barcelona and came back to a broken printer. Now, I've tried to teach my employees all the intricacies of maintaining the printer, but it's actually fairly complicated and it's really easy to screw up. And whenever one of my print heads gets clogged, it costs me $400 to buy a new one. And so far, I've replaced 4 of them in the span of 1.5 years. Now, some of these replacements were due to user error, but for the most part, if you leave this thing idle for a week or even a weekend in some cases, it's gonna clog. Now, it's because of the maintenance issues of my DTF printer that I decided to get the Uninet iColor 650 white toner printer as a backup. As I mentioned earlier, Uninet offers an entry-level white toner printer for about $3,700, and if you don't mind a refurbished one, you can actually get one for $2,800 or less. The biggest benefit of white toner printing for my business is that it requires very little maintenance. With a white toner printer, you don't have to print every day. You can not print for a month, fire it up, and it will print as if the printer was brand new. Plus, it requires far less hand-holding and maintenance than running a DTF printer. Now, from the perspective of a beginner, a white toner printer is much easier to use and it's hard to screw things up because the printer is basically idiot-proof. The only downside to a white toner printer is that it costs more money per print. For example, for a t-shirt design that looks like this, it might only cost $1 to print on my DTF printer. But on the white toner printer, you have to purchase a special film and transfer sheet combo, which costs about $3 per sheet. Then you have to buy toner as well, which costs around 13 cents per page. All told, it probably costs roughly 3x the cost to print a page on a white toner printer versus a DTF printer. So if you do lots of volume, DTF printing will usually win out in terms of cost. But in my mind, getting a white toner printer is worth it for peace of mind because maintaining a DTF printer can be a pain in the butt. Anyway, those are the 2 best and most flexible printing technologies available right now, and here's the overall flow to launch your own profitable printing business. Start off with print on demand, especially if you have no money. Figure out which of your designs sell the best, and then transition to pre-printed DTF stickers to double your margins. Then, when you're ready to make 90+% margins, get your own printer. If you're a beginner, get the Uninet iColor 560 printer. And if you have the volume to print every single day, get a Sublistar Star 4 printer. Now, in one of my last videos, I got a lot of comments like, why would you bother printing on your own? Why would you ever want to physically press and print everything yourself? You forgot to factor in the cost of your time, blah, 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 blah. Think about it this way. I can probably print and produce about 50 pieces an hour in my small shop. At $20 a pop, that is $1,000 per hour. Now, let's be pessimistic and assume that only 50% of that is profit. That is still $500 per hour, and I can easily find someone to do all the work at just $20 to $30 an hour. Print on demand is great for starting out, but lousy for making life-changing money. Now that you understand how to start your own printing business, make sure you watch this video here for a list of the best print on demand companies to get started.